What's going on, folks? Fugazi TV, Mono Black here. It's been a minute. I've just been watching some of the content creators on YouTube, come out with some of their topics and stuff like that. And I was recently listening to Kevin Samuels. And I know what you guys are going to say. You listen to Kevin Samuels? Yeah, I do. And the other day, one of his topics were, I know it's directed to women, but I normally sometimes internalize some of the, some of the theories or the things that some people say and say, what, how can I apply that to my life? And, he was saying basically, why do we wait so long to get married? And, growing up, I was told, you need to be with a woman from anywhere to for a while, before you pull the plug and get married. At the beginning when he was saying this, I was skeptical. I was like, I don't think, this makes too much sense to me. But as he started to explain it later, I started realizing, this makes, sense. One of the things he was saying, people should get married between, 6 to 12 months. Like, why does it take you that long to get married? Like, what are you going to learn outside of what you know from the person from 6 months to 12 months that you're going to find out miraculously after 12 months? I mean, and then I looked at my own situation. I've been married for, married 16 years. I've been together with my wife 16 years, married 11, and dated for 5. Then I started questioning myself. I was like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Now, what did I learn about my wife from year 1 to year 5? And I thought about this, and I thought about this for a few hours, sat, went out back, took my time, really thought about it, digested it, and I realized I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn anything new. There was nothing else to learn, and in essence, I really have to say I wasted 4 years. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it worked out, but I didn't learn anything new. I just basically wasted 4 years of, I guess, dating. Instead of just confirming it and saying, what, let's make this official and just be one. You're not going to learn anything new outside of 6 months, 12 months. I mean, in reality, you're going to have to, get with the person, find out, about the person a little bit, within the 6 months to 12 months. And then you really get to know someone when you get married with them. Like, if you're the one that believes, you shouldn't stay together, you shouldn't stay together until you're married. I mean, what else are you going to learn? I mean, to really get to know someone, you have to stay with them. You have to share a roof. You're not going to know that person 100%. People say, well, they put their best foot forward. I mean, okay. You just have to jump in. You just have to jump in. If the person makes it to 6 months, a man should know whether or not he wants to marry this person. I mean, just 6 months. I think, I know this was directed to women and how women have, most women have a bad tendency to pick, bad men. And, there's going to be things or on your bucket list or your item or your checklist, that you need to check off until you can say, well, I call this guy. I wouldn't mind calling this guy my husband for a girl, but I'm thinking, as long as you get your overall important aspects covered, I think you should go ahead and get married. I mean, I spoke to my I speak to my wife regularly, and one of the concerns she had before we got married is, my parenting, my parent situation, because my mother was a single mother, and she feared that I didn't have, I guess, an example of what a stable marriage should be. And I think I probably covered these part from television, watching the Cosby's, Family Matters, and stuff like that. I made Fresh Prince, probably figured out how to fill in those gaps. She knew that I was a smart person, that I was somebody that valued education. She knew that I was a hard worker. I wasn't someone that would use a woman just to use a woman, like make the woman work and bring her money to me, and I would buy clothes and stuff like that. She knew I wasn't that type. She really knew that I was a hard worker, and I learned how to. I've seen my mother work hard, so I've adapted that from her. So that was her main concern, and if she was thinking about that being something that would have stopped her from marrying me, I mean, if she would have thought like the modern woman, she wouldn't have married me, and we wouldn't have had 16 years of of bliss. So I mean, you just have to jump in there. I mean, as long as and I have two daughters too, so I have to take into consideration them, and hopefully they'll bring the guy to me and not just make the decision ultimately on their own of who they should marry. I think between, me, their father, their uncles, and brother, we should as a whole be able to be like, yeah, you know what, this guy is okay. It's okay to marry this guy. I mean, I would look for things that I feel that I brought to the table to my wife, which would be a hard worker, someone that valued work, had a very good work ethic, someone that was punctual, someone that was true to their word. Like if they say something, they mean it. Like hey, I'm gonna come here at 5:00 and I'm gonna do X, Y, Z, and they're there at like 4:50 and X, Y, and Z is done. I mean, that's high quality. You know what I mean? Women would be like, well, he has to be cute and tall and all this other stuff, and once women get some kind of feeling towards men, sometimes their logic goes out the window. So pretty much women can't really pick their husbands. I think they need help, and I think the father, uncles, and brothers are the ones to help. With helping the woman pick a husband. You know what I mean? Because women have a long list of things, and all of them are equally important. All of them are showstoppers. You know what I mean? I want someone that's 6'1". He's 6 feet. Oh my God, that's a showstopper. Like, he's 1 inch shorter than what I need from the checklist, so I can't do this. I mean, and I'm listening to his shows, man, and the women that calls in, I mean, like, I'm starting to digest it. I'm like, man, this doesn't make any sense. Like, a lady was like, yeah, I was with a guy for like 5 years and we didn't get married. Like, damn. and not even just dating, they were actually living together. How do you date and live with a guy, for some odd 5 years and don't confirm and get married? I'm like what the? Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like some of the things that these women are telling this guy is like, it just doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Men don't care. Men don't care about your degrees and stuff like that. Some men, would love their women to, you don't want someone that's, I guess, a bird brain. You would want someone that, has some kind of intelligence, and someone that's, someone that has great conversation. That's key. Someone, obviously we're visual creatures, men are. So, she has to be at least attractive to, that person. And, she has to, be someone that's, submissive, someone that, let their husband lead, So, yeah, it's getting tough out there, man. Dating or courting for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years is insane. You're not gonna learn anything new about that person, and what you're not gonna learn anything. So it doesn't really get you closer to marriage. I mean, 6 months to a year is time enough. Yeah. Now, another thing that he was saying that was interesting was, look, man, if you're a woman, if you want to be married, you need to, any person that you go out on a date with, the getting married should be on the table for you. That's one of the things you got to put on the table. You can't come into anything especially when it comes to dating a guy with the mind frame of let's just see where it goes. No, your end game is I want to be a wife, and these are the things that I have to teach my daughters. You don't date to see where it goes. You date to you date to marry. Anything else is a waste of time. Unless you want to do that, but it becomes a waste of time. You know what I mean? And correct me if I'm off on this part, but some of the women he was talking to, that was like, yeah, he knows how to make you tingle. And I guess from tingle, we could associate that with sexual performance. He knows how to sexually please you. But I'm like, how do you know if a guy's a good or bad in bed? Because let's just look at it from a logical standpoint. I mean, to know if someone is good or bad at something, you have to have some kind of comparison. When they test drugs, they have to compare it to a placebo to see what the effectiveness is. So you have to have a comparator, right? So in order for a girl to figure out, okay, if he's really good in bed, you would have to have had another sexual partners. Now if your body count is getting, over 10, 15, 20, 30, and you're young, and you're like in your 20s, 21s, 22s, and your body counts is getting that high. I mean, like, damn, that's crazy. No, man, women aren't supposed to be having high body counts like that early. I mean, I could understand, you know, things went south for you after 30. You're not married, you don't have any kids, you don't have any prospects, I guess, or you just don't want to be married. I could understand a account like that, but why would you, why would you have a high count like that? If you're strictly dating for marriage, your body count shouldn't be that high. I guess that's what I'm saying. Your count should be reasonable. Like, it shouldn't be over 10, I don't think. I mean, 10 is high. To have a body count of 10 at 20 for a young woman, I think that's kind of high. I mean, I know a lot of people disagree. Like, man, that 10 ain't nothing. But 10 is a lot, man. 10 is a lot. And if you look at the anatomy of a woman and a man, I mean, the man physically penetrates. Like, yeah, that's crazy. That's when, how women want to, say, well, men have a double standard. They could, sleep around and stuff like that, and it's all good. And certain things aren't fair. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and some people, like, a guy physically leaves his DNA within a woman. Technically, if there's no protection involved. I mean, that's DNA. You know what I mean? Like, how many DNAs are you gonna be allowed to be within your body? That's crazy. But it is factual what he was saying. Dating is a waste of time. Just these long dating is a waste of time, and I agree. There's nothing else you're gonna learn about that person. The best way to learn about anything is to jump right in. Involve the men in your life, your father, your brothers, your uncle, and not just any kind of man, but sensible men with logic. If your situation is screwed up, it's just gonna be screwed up. But involve the men. Involve the men. The more men you involve in your life, like your father, your brother, the less traumatic I think your dating life would be. Now, if you go in this on your own, you're gonna have a tough go. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll just meet one person, and that person will swoop you up and I guess you guys will live happily ever after, but it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think we need to go back to the old days, man. And I don't know if, modern women now complain about how they used to do it back then. They don't like it. They saw their mothers unhappy, their aunts unhappy. And is this better? Like, are women happier now that they have the freedom to go around and sleep with multiple men or date random, just crazy people? Like, is the outcome different? Is the outcome different? Are you happy? I mean, if you change something, and if you're saying you're changing it for the better, you should be happy. The outcome should be better. And the stats doesn't show that. People are divorcing more now than they did in the old days. So is it working? And I don't believe it is. So I think we need to get back to that structure of how it was back then. You meet someone, you knew the person's family. Yeah, I was even my in-laws. My wife's mother and father, they've been married for over 50 years. And, I was talking to him, and I didn't know this and until now. But he was like, yeah, I met my wife as soon as I saw her. I said, yeah, I'm gonna get married. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, yeah. I saw her. I seen her. I said, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. I got all that, the name out the way. Telling her how beautiful she was, and I wanted to marry her, and that was it. I was like, what? Yeah, like that's it. I wasn't gonna run around playing around. I saw her out. That's who I wanted. And I asked her to marry me. I thought that was crazy, but then, yeah, I mean, it's not that crazy. This is what people used to do back then. They saw someone, they wanted that person to be their wife. They asked for the hand in marriage. They got to know the family, and that was it. They're just racking up no bills and all this spending and all this stuff on dating for 10 years just to say I want to be with you for the rest of my life. No, it's not worth it. You're not gonna learn anything extra. You're wasting time. Get in. You've liked this person. Marriage is on the table. Just get married, man. You're not gonna learn anything new. Just get in. All right, folks. That's just my 2 cents on things. All right. Kevin Samuels is right here, man. He's on the money with this one.